Welcome to Coupled.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Todd.
And we were reminiscing this morning about quarantine.
Yeah. Our global health risk hazard, whatever you want to call it.
And how it changed our lives. But before that even happened, our lives changed pretty profoundly.
Yeah, that's right.
My daughter and her two kids moved in with us for a while. And what's funny is Todd and I always joke because between us, we have 8 children.
Yeah, just a few.
Between us, we have 8 kids, 7 of them grown. And we have Justin, who's still at home, who just turned 18. But we are thinking about, Todd makes the joke that we don't want a spare room because we don't want the kids moving in.
Yeah, that's right. Because what happens, as soon as you have a spare room and somebody needs some help or an issue with something, they automatically go, hey, you know that spare room? So there's no bed. So we make sure if we have a spare room, there's no bed. That's not available.
We don't have a spare room. We have our bedrooms we sleep in, and Todd has his office that we are in now.
Yeah, this is the office.
And I have my office. But of course we're not shut down to the idea. If our kids need help, of course they can come in.
Well, let's back up before that. So we were in a townhouse. There was a 2-bedroom townhouse before.
Very small, yeah.
Very small. And there was barely enough room for the 3 of us because we did have one child still at home. So Michelle has always worked from home. I've worked a combination of, remote location in office and at home. And so she always used either our master bedroom as the office or the living room. And the townhouse was really small. So we moved into this place, which is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, very large, nice house.
It's a nice size for 3 of us.
Yeah, for 3 of us.
And so we're super happy to have our own separate offices. We were in another house before where we shared office, which doesn't work because I work with clients.
Yeah.
So we were super excited to have this house, but we made sure we didn't have a spare room. And not that we wouldn't have company. Of course, we'll have company and we would set something up. But as happens, our kids need help sometimes. And we are a stepping stone. Our door is open to be a stepping stone. Yeah. But we hadn't been in the house very long. And my son moved in for 2 months. He was here for a couple of months. Mm-hmm. And that worked out really well. He was a great house guest. And he didn't overstay. In fact, we told him he could stay longer so we could help him get on his feet. But so we're not closed doors. So
no,
don't
we're not.
Get the impression. But
their doors open.
As we're getting older and our kids are older, I've been a mom since I was 18 years old. And Todd was a young dad. And so we are looking forward to freedom.
Yeah, that's right. I had children in my young 20s, I think 21. So started a long time ago. And so as we get older, we're excited for our freedom as we release the birds, as they go away. But what I wanted to say earlier is this house is really nice and conducive to having a guest because we have 2 community areas. And so whenever we have a guest, we can let them have one so they have their own space as well as, the bedroom or wherever they're sleeping. So it works out really nice because we still have our area where we do our normal thing and then they have their freedom to do their thing as well.
Right. And so late last year in the fall, my daughter with our 2 grandkids, Samson and Salem, moved in. And it was an adjustment, of course. We're not used to having young kids around all the time.
No, and the very first thing that happened to me is I realized I no longer could walk around in my underwear in the morning.
Todd had to put pants on.
Yeah. As soon as you're out of bed, pants on. It reminded me I had to go back to my childhood. But
he had to have pants on all the time. Which is to say, after Justin would go to school in the morning, he would, dawdle around in his underwear. We worked from home, on video. You don't ever have to have pants on.
No, that's true. You just got to remember not to stand up.
That's right. And he does have pants on right now. He does have pants on now.
I do.
Well, Well, shorts. For
I
sure.
rarely wear pants.
For sure. So the kids came in and I moved my office out and started working from the bedroom. My desk went to the living room and my office became the home of Megan and her two kids. And we had so there were definitely adjustments for them too, right? It's not easy going back and living with your parents. But Samson and Salem really loved living with Nona and Papa Todd.
Yeah, they're 4 and 5 years old, and it was a pleasure having them, and really fun to have the kids around.
It was. Definitely. We really bonded in ways that we would have never done. But the interesting part is Megan works from home too. And so there was 3 of us working from home and talk about drinking. We drank a lot of Starbucks. Todd and Megan are addicted to Starbucks.
Yeah, I never say no. If it's on the table, I'm a yes. And Megan and I played off of each other because I think we had that, you know how you just greet each other and say, hey, how are you going? Megan and I would go like, coffee.
So we had this running joke that I was working in the master bedroom. Todd was in here in his office and Megan was working in the kitchen. So we joked about Megan working in our break room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, every time we take a break and we'd go in there to have a snack or something, Megan was working and she totally ignored us. And we talked to her and it's like we weren't even there. So we were getting really annoyed.
She could totally tune us out. And what's so funny is Megan and I are so much alike that Todd and I have our seats at the kitchen table. Like my favorite seat. Megan claimed that immediately. She's just like me, wants to sit exactly where I want to sit. I'm like, that's my seat. And she started to move over to another seat and it was Todd's. Todd goes, oh no, that's my seat. So she moved back to mine. Somehow I lost my seat.
Well, I think she was done. She's like, I've moved 2 times now, so I'm taking this one.
Right. So again, our house is full, right? Our house is so full. And learning to accommodate that, like cooking and Todd and I and Justin, you know, we cooked occasionally, mostly on Mondays or Sundays.
Well, that's a long story. Over the years, we've tried a lot of different techniques to try to get everybody involved. So Michelle and I used to trade off and cook every other night. And then, you know, we do stuff like that. And we got to the point for me, I love to cook. I just hate to cook every day. And Michelle, I think, is cooked for a long time. And so she's kind of done.
Cook,
she's done with that stage.
Ever. I will eat cheese and crackers for dinner.
Yeah.
I'll put it on a board and call it a charcuterie board. Yeah. So it's fancy. Put some grapes on it.
That's right. That's when you know you're upscale. Got the grapes going on. It's like,
who needs to cook? Who needs to cook? So, and with Justin, he's pretty self-sufficient, but we always made it a point to have, you know, 1 or 2 meals together. He's a teenager. We need to reel him in sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
But when Megan got here and she cooks healthily and she enjoys cooking and she was cooking every night for the kids, at first we tried this separate dinner thing. Like the kids, Megan and the kids would eat at one time and then we'd have our meal or you know, order food, which we are bad at.
That's
a lot.
Like the coffee, huh? What do you think?
But then we'd try to come up with our own meals. Like one of my favorites, tortellinis, right? You boil the tortellinis and you throw some sauce on top of it.
Little salt.
But Megan would be cooking for the kids and be like, me and Todd would be looking at each other like,
well, yeah, she was making these ridiculously beautiful dishes. Like the thing that really stood out to me was she was creating this curry dish, which was roasted chicken and then some vegetables in this curry sauce with jasmine rice. And my mouth was watering. I was going, oh my God, this is what the kids are getting. Michelle and I are looking at tortellinis, right?
Or ordering Chipotle, for the 100th time. And I look at Todd and I go, I got an idea. Let's see if Megan will cook and we'll clean up. And
I go, that sounds like a negotiation.
Right?
Let's go.
Right?
Yeah.
And so she was all over that. She was, I love cooking, but I hate cleaning up.
Yeah.
And so
it was perfect.
It was totally perfect. And then that started the tradition of the family meal. We all gathered around the table every single night having the family meal, and the grandkids adore that.
Yeah, they love it.
Yes, yes. And Samson and Salem, they love doing this thing. Best thing you that happened during the day, and the roughest thing that happened during the day. So we got to go around the table every night sharing that. And Salem always wanted to be first. And then how we did it was whoever went chose the next person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Salem and I have a lot of fun because she's for 4 years old. She has a great sarcastic sense of humor, which I just love. So we hit it off really well. But the greatest thing ever is no matter. So Salem, first of all, is always, I want to go first. I want to go first. So she's right on it because she wants to start this best thing that happened today. And I love it because you get to pick the next person. And right now I'm her favorite. And so I'm picked next every time. Salem picks me.
Papa Todd is her favorite, and she tells us that all the time. Papa Todd, you're the best. Papa Todd, you're my favorite. So every time she chooses Papa Todd. And so that is a very heartwarming
it's great
experience we've had in having the kids here. And then, it worked great.
Kids, it was going we got a rhythm. Everything's working great. We got the dinners. And Megan has her own early morning routine with the kids, taking them to daycare or school, whatever they were doing. Justin had his thing going on with his school. We had our work thing. It was like a smooth running machine. I remember saying, oh my God, this is way better than I ever expected it would be, having this many people in the same house.
Right. Yeah. And we had our work time. We had our quiet work day, and Megan would stop by Starbucks just about every single day. Bring us home a coffee.
That's why I was really happy.
Okay. We'd chat around the table. I mean, oh my God, didn't we spend so many hours chatting? We would chat around the table before getting started for work. I mean, we could just it was so much fun.
I think we were looking forward to waking up in the morning and having chats. And we were also looking forward to after work of having chats, saying goodnight to everybody. We had just this smooth routine. In fact, the routine systems were going so great, the animals were even involved. So they knew exactly what time we were eating, and they'd be right in there by their dishes waiting because, fortunately, we have animals that love systems. So
yeah. Todd loves systems, and Todd thinks the animals love systems too.
They are on it. If you go off the system, they let you know.
So I think what it is they're great trainers. They know what time it is for us to get out of bed. I mean, we don't get to sleep in. Ramsey's outside the bedroom door meowing. And we've moved Duchess out of the bedroom, but we can still hear her snoring through the door. It's just not so loud. But so we had this well-oiled machine happening.
Yeah, it was going great.
And then
all of a sudden, we had a global health issue crop up, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. Just all of a sudden.
Quarantine.
Everybody stay home.
Right.
Don't talk to anybody. Don't look at anybody.
Don't go out. No happy hour. And we already work from home. And so which we love working from home. Yeah. Absolutely. But that also included, hey, let's go over to Starbucks and just get out of the house.
Yeah, get out of the house. We'll go sit there.
Go work over there. We could get out. Friday afternoons.
Yeah, Friday afternoons would be we love happy hour. So it's like our break from the week. Let's go celebrate. We had a week in the house. So let's go out and just really enjoy being served and having delicious food. We have some, of course, favorite places that we go to.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah, whatever it is, if it has grapes. And then all of a sudden, boom, please stay home. You can't go out.
Yeah, time to stay home. Everything. Well, and so we're kind of looking at each other, and we were hopeful because we're like, oh, this, a month. We can get through.
I'm thinking 2 weeks, 6 weeks at the worst. We'll get through this, because what they were telling us was they had a specific plan. And I go, oh, this makes sense. Yeah, 2 to 6 weeks, we'll be fine.
Right. But then, so we were adjusting to having all of the kids home all of the time, and when I can see burned into my brain is Megan's face when school was canceled. They weren't going back to school. And her face just dropped because she is a single mom and she is self-employed, and she does get to work from home, but it does require work. And many people may think that it's easy to work from home when you've got kids, and it just isn't. You don't get the focus.
Yeah.
And the kids need their education.
Mm-hmm.
So we were quickly creating a calendar of how this was going to work and
Yeah.
shifting around. So I would have time to work. Megan would have time to work. The kids would get schoolwork. And what was born out of that? This is amazing. Our son, Justin, is a bodybuilder. He's into weights and weight training. And so Justin became the PE teacher for Samson and Salem. Yeah. 2 hours a day they got PE.
Oh yeah, 2 hours of PE. I bet. Well, they loved it. Yeah.
They absolutely loved it. They would come home and they would be showing us what they learned they would show us push-ups and sit-ups and they ran around and played too. But Justin was definitely giving them exercises and
he took them, there's a neighborhood park, and that's where they would go have their routines, and everything was going along great there. And mind you, this was the springtime. So the weather was nice. Well, actually it wasn't that nice because he'd have to have them home by like 10 or 11 in the morning because then it would get too warm. But in the morning it was fine.
Yeah, when we first started, it was 9 to 11. And then gradually, then school was canceled, and then it wasn't even starting up in the fall, but summer hit and suddenly they had to go to PE at 8 a.m. Be back by
moved up earlier.
9:30. It was just getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah, and then on top of that, of course, as the global health issues started expanding, our local community actually closed the parks, which, okay, it is what it is. But then all of a sudden, PE was canceled. So then that had to come back home as well.
Right. You couldn't even play on the equipment at the park. So and I know if you're listening to this and you're a parent, we're not telling you anything
new. It's
new.
probably a repeat of what everybody else has experienced out there. Maybe less so because we were running at a very good caliber.
Right. And gratefully, we have the space. And gratefully, Megan and the kids were already living here. Had they been in another home, then we were supposed to be quarantined away from each other.
Right.
So I'm deeply grateful that we got to be quarantined
yes, we were all together against each other.
And we really created these bonds. And so we had family breakfasts, family lunches, family dinners. Everything. We had a lot of togetherness.
And the highlight of my day, to get a little bit of a break, if you want to call it a highlight, was we also had the great toilet paper shortage. And so every day I went to a different store trying to find toilet paper. And so that was my thing for the day. And so it was 20 minutes outside to find out there was no toilet paper and come back home.
Right. And you did go every day, different store.
Different store. Yeah.
Because we couldn't, and we had more people in the house. So we needed more toilet paper. Right. And they were laughing. Megan and Todd were laughing because I literally never left the house. Because I won't go to the store. I hate the store.
Yes, it's like cooking. It's like cooking and the store are two things. Michelle's like, I'm over that.
Yeah,
I've done that.
I went to the store like thousands of times in my 20s, 30s, 40s. But one day Megan goes, "Mom, when was the last time you left this house?" I'm like, I have no idea. I've not driven my car in weeks.
Now, you've got to understand that just, in fact, a few weeks ago, Michelle went to the store. It made family news. People were calling each other, "Can you believe Michelle went to the store?"
I know. I came home from the store one day and he had been in his office on a meeting. He goes, "You went to the store?" And I go, "You were busy." I couldn't get him to go and I had to have what I needed. So, and I did go to the store last weekend begrudgingly. It was a lot of personal development work on it because I'm like, because I volunteered to cook dinner too. And I'm like, really? I'm going to the store and cooking dinner in one day in the space of an hour. Yeah. And I really had to be a grown-up. I had to pull up my big girl panties and think, my husband has been going to the store for months. He's been doing everything.
Now, mind you, I like going to the store. In fact, I'm not actually opposed to going 3 or 4 times a week. If it was daily, I might have a problem, but I kind of like to go because it is a little bit of exercise and you get to see what's out there. And I'm an impulse buyer. So if I see some, great food or something that I need, then I'll grab that on the way out the door. So yeah, works out great. But it was nice to have you go because it did give a little bit of a break. I'm like, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. He was amazed how quickly I could be home. I think I was to the store and back in a half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. It was incredible.
It was fast.
And everything on the list was purchased too. So that was impressive to me. I tend to always forget 1 or 2 things. So
yeah. So, well, you've bought, remember the cucumber story?
Which one? 'Cause there's a couple.
Well, I wanted a cucumber.
Yeah, you're talking about the day that I went specifically was one of the things I went was a cucumber, and I had it, and I went through the self-checkout. I scanned it, put it in the bag, and got home, and there was no cucumber.
Yeah, so we still haven't figured that out. I mean, you could blame the checker or the bagger, but Todd did both of those things.
I did all those roles.
So apparently you can miss the bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm
something.
thinking. I'm thinking somehow I put it between the bags and just missed. That's the only thing that could explain it. There's no holes in the bag. And it wasn't the only thing I bought, so it wasn't like I was walking out with an empty bag.
This is my analyzer.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, well, I guess I didn't want a cucumber.
We're calling in the
So
investigator.
what I did was I called Megan to bring a cucumber because it was a Linner night. Linner, that's our Sunday dinner. We do a mid-afternoon Linner.
Which was bonded about all this living together and the family dinners.
That was the tradition because we started having Linner on Sundays as the big family, because we would have an early lunch and swim in the pool. And so when they moved out, that was a tradition we decided to keep every Sunday. And so we do that every Sunday. We have Linner. So that Sunday, I'm like, hey, Megan, get a cucumber. I thought she was going to the store. And she goes, okay, got it. And then she gets here and she goes, my cucumber was rotten. And I'm like, I want you to get one at the store. She goes, oh. So that was not my day for cucumbers.
Well, it has not been the year for cucumbers. I always remember anytime you get a cucumber, you go buy one. We've had more bad cucumbers this year in 2020, bitter, than I've ever experienced at any time. So it's not uncommon to go to the store, buy it, bring it home, cut it open, and take a bite and go, ugh, I'm not eating that.
It was bitter. Yeah, it was really bad.
You can only put so much sugar on a cucumber.
I'm just curious if this counts as one of our sex talks.
One of the cess, I can't even say it.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's just a produce talk. So another thing, as the pandemic droned on and on and on and on.
It's still here.
Yeah. We started playing cards again. And we started playing rummy. So this became, for Megan, Todd, and I, sitting around the table playing rummy, which was so much fun because literally I hadn't played cards in decades, I don't think.
No, and I grew up with my sister. We played cards all the time. She taught me how to play all kinds of things, and rummy was one of the games that we played together a lot. And yeah, it's been decades since I really played. A few times over the years, maybe little bits and habits, but yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So we started like, hey, let's play rummy. Mm-hmm. And so we sat around the table. So that became a tradition. White popcorn.
Smart food. White popcorn became a staple.
Yeah, the white cheddar popcorn. Yeah. That was sitting on the table. We'd munch on that and drink flavored seltzer water. Bubbly, is that what it's called?
Bubbly, yeah.
Bubbly. We all have our favorite flavor. And then Little River Band. Megan and I would play Little River Band. I've got to say
something about that. I've always been a fan of Little River Band since I was in grade school, pretty much. And every once in a while, when you're driving around, it comes on the car, and I'm like, oh my God, Little River Band.
Takes you back?
I haven't heard this. This is so great. So you'd crank it up and listen to it, and come home and tell everybody, hey, guess what I heard on the radio? Little River Band.
Take you back.
Well, this became our staple for rummy music. I can't stand Little River Band now. I don't ever want to hear it again. It was nonstop. And in fact, I don't think we played cards without LRB.
No, we did not. We did not, because it was tradition.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not call that a system. That's a tradition. I like systems.
But that's something Todd and I do not have in common, is that I will hear a song and that'll be my song. Like I will play it every morning after I shower for weeks, and I will replay it and replay it and replay it. It's like, I love that song. I just want to hear it over and over again. And that was Little River Band. It's like, that is the music for Rummy. And it was just, I don't know, it was just a good feeling that we wouldn't have
Well, the first 100 or 2 times, it was okay, but
well, I know the kids were over for dinner and we're outside swimming, and Justin brings out his big speaker. He has his big booming speaker, and I'm like, turn on Little River Band, and Todd goes, no. No Little River Band. No. So,
I had to pull up the Cards Defense. That's our Rummy music. We gotta listen to it out by the pool.
Yeah, that's not what you said.
Yeah,
You're like, I don't want to hear
that's my
them
story. Yeah.
ever again. Never again. But what else we did? What to be creative, because we really missed alone time. Todd and I get a lot of alone time.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is great. It's quiet in the house. And during quarantine, there was no such thing. Nobody got alone time. Right? Megan said, she goes, I literally have no place to go to be alone. And Todd had his office, and I had the bedroom, and Megan became very aware, like, her bedroom was her kid's bedroom. There was no place. None of us had alone time.
Yeah.
But
except for Justin. Justin had his bedroom.
Oh, Justin, for sure.
Yeah.
He stayed in his bedroom most of the time. He's a regular teenager, right?
Yeah.
And what we tried to, I was like, I want to have happy hour. It becomes a habit, honestly. It's like, that was our time we looked forward to. And our happy hour, Todd and our happy hour starts at 3.
Yeah, we start early because there's less people there and we can get the seat we want, because there's nothing more disappointing than going there and getting the last seat that nobody wants.
It has nothing to do with our age and our natural hair color. It has nothing.
It's just about the procedure.
And we're home by 6. We like to be home by 6, right?
That's right. That's why it's happy hour.
That's why it's happy. We get out. It's fewer people. We get our perfect seat.
And a discount also.
And
usually.
the discount. And we're home early, and we get to watch our Friday night shows.
Yeah, it works out great.
It does work out great. But none of that was happening during quarantine.
No, so we had to get creative, and Michelle came up with this great idea of, let's rearrange one of our living areas and create our own happy hour. So we did that. So we have a couple chairs that are usually on the outside of the room. We brought those together and brought a little table together, put them in a different direction they usually go. And we decided, let's have our happy hour. So that's what we started doing. We had this little area.
Yeah, we had it. And I got us some cheese, our charcuterie board.
That's right.
And a couple of beers, and we sat down and turned on music, not Little River Band,
not LRB,
happy hour music. And we were sitting there having our beers, and it was, I don't know, maybe 0.3 seconds before we had Samson and Salem there too, going, do you want to play a game? Let's play the quiet game. That's Salem's favorite game. Let's play the quiet game. But she gets to pause the game and talk, and then start again. But instantly, like little like bees to honey, we had the kids around us going, let's play a game. Let's do this. Let's do that. And Megan joined us, and we're working on chatting. So we had to train the kids that this is adult time.
Yeah, this was adult time. This was not about playtime or entertaining the kids. This was the adults for us to have our time, and they could pretty much do whatever they wanted to as long as they didn't bother us. So it wasn't like restrictive, go away, but it's like play, go over there. But it's really funny. But now I realize that maybe that's how it starts, so that later on in life they're going to want to do happy hour. It just progresses, right? Because I remember when I was a child, my parents would get together and have friends over and have a happy hour version before I knew what it was, and I was just intrigued by it. So I know exactly where Samson and Salem are coming from, because I want to be involved. I want to hear what the grown-ups were talking about.
It was a lot of fun. But they ended our happy hour early because they were always, when's dinner? What's for dinner? When's dinner?
Systems.
What's for dinner?
They have their own systems,
right? Right. Yep, they're on a system too. But definitely a growth experience. And, looking back over it, it just really transformed our relationships and the bond we have.
Yeah, regardless of the global health issue, it was a really strong bonding time for the family. We had a lot of fun memories that we're going to have out of it. It brought us all together, which was amazing. It was a lot of fun. So there was like, in spite of everything, it was like one of the most beautiful things that has, transpired in a long time. So it was really cool. And because of that, like we talked about, Lenners now, every Sunday we still get together. We carry on that tradition. So we have our time together.
Yes, it's awesome. It's awesome. So I'm grateful for many aspects of being brought together as a family and staying home, and I definitely feel like it's even brought us closer.
Yeah. Yeah. All of us, all the way around.
For sure.
So yeah, it's great. I can't say enough good things about it. It's like truly a blessing, which is one of those things you didn't see coming.
Right.
You got it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's warm hearted. I love it.
Yes, and now Megan lives 3 minutes away.
Yeah, yeah. So she's right there. She has her own space now.
Oh, yep. They have their own space. We all have our alone time. It's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, we will see you next week.
Yeah, next week. Everybody be careful out there.
All right.
Bye.